Hey everyone, I'm back, and today we're going to be talking about Bugonia. And this movie came out in 2025, and it's directed by Yorgos Lanthimos, and it stars Emma Stone, Jesse Plemons, and it's currently nominated for Best Picture. And I thought this movie was great. I really enjoyed it. And if you're unfamiliar with Yorgos Lanthimos, some films that I really love from him are The Lobster. He also did The Favorite, another one that was nominated for Best Picture, as well as Poor Things, another one that was nominated for Best Picture. And I think all those are great, and Poor Things is probably my favorite. And I thought this one was enjoyable enough that I would be encouraged to see it again, and was challenging, but not to the point where it gets into the realm of being pretentious. And I felt as though the dialogue was very well written and funny to me at times because of how characters talked. It was very unique and different from what I'm used to from any other movie, but not Yorgos in particular. He has a very unique style to the way his characters talk and interact with one another. And sure, it does kind of come across as, yeah, they kind of talk weird, but you do get used to it as the movie goes along. And I felt as though everything that it was going for worked for the most part, and this movie does open up itself to ideas that are like kind of fun to think about, and without spoiling anything, there are definitely like fun things that you could pick apart and like, oh, it's probably feeding into this idea and to that idea. And Jesse Plemons' character very much felt like I was watching a character from They Live, like anyone who was like in on it. And that was the impression that I was getting from his character in a sense. And I thought that was kind of fun. And also with Emma Stone mostly being bald in this movie, there were some shots in this movie where she kind of reminded me of Sigourney Weaver from Alien 3, which I found to be kind of fun. Not saying this movie constantly reminded me of other things, but I was thinking about that a little bit. But to get into what I really love about this movie, I thought the acting was pretty great from Emma Stone, and she's great in all of these Yorgos Lanthimos films, including Kinds of Kindness. And you really do see a wide range of what character she can play, especially in Kinds of Kindness. I also really love the characters in this movie, and it's a pretty small scale film, and mostly a bottle film taking place in just this one house without giving too much away. And I felt as though, yeah, that's just what it needs, and it doesn't really need to be much else outside of that. And there are definitely aspects that are played for comedy that I did find funny, and I'll say this much: as far as movies that are supposed to be kind of funny in a dry way, or like at least that's unique for Yorgos, I would say this one was the least effective for me personally. I just wasn't laughing as much, and that might be due to the fact that either I was kind of already getting what it was going for, or it just wasn't clicking for me, or I was just used to this type of writing. I really don't know what is going on, but I just felt as though, yeah, this is not hitting me emotionally like a lot of his other films do. But going back to my positives, I thought the music was great. There was like a range of different tones and emotions that I was going for, and I felt as though it worked pretty successfully. There were some cool visuals in this movie that I really loved and will remember this movie for, and this movie does have a lot of memorable scenes within it, and despite it being 2 hours, I never felt the runtime. I didn't feel a need to like yawn or like struggle to pay attention to it, and it was just always enjoyable to me. And the stakes of this movie were always very well realized, and that's another thing that kept me going throughout it. And it's pretty crazy what is going on if you've seen the trailer or even know what the concept of the movie is. It pretty much has its own spin on it in terms of like the typical kidnapping a person in power, and it's just very unique and different, and I was enjoying that aspect about it. And as far as issues that I have with the movie that I haven't really discussed yet, I will say that the movie did get a little repetitive with one of the themes that it was kind of getting at. I was like, okay, this is something that could be pulled back a little bit, and I would be fine with it. And it's just a couple of nitpicky things, like one instance towards the end, and without spoiling anything, just like something took a long time to where it was daytime in one scene, and in the next scene it's nighttime. I was like, how long were you just waiting for that to happen? That was weird. It was like The Dark Knight Rises almost, in terms of like a passage of time with that one scene that's pretty iconic, I guess, for a lack of a better word, where it's a daytime when they're leaving the big building or whatever it's called. They go into the hallway underground thing or whatever for a little bit, and when they come out of it, it's nighttime. And one last criticism, without spoiling anything, I feel as though this movie could have ended 1 minute sooner. And that's about all I have to say about Bugonia. I thought it was great, really enjoyed this one, would definitely recommend it. I would not be upset if it won for Best Picture at the Oscars, and I will be watching this movie again, so check this movie out whenever you get the chance, and with all that being said, I'm going to give Bugonia an 8 out of 10. Thank you for watching my videos. As always, if you enjoyed this review, be sure to leave a like and comment down below you thought of Bugonia, and my social media links, they will all be in the description, so follow me there. And last but not least, subscribe to be a part of Foley Nation, and I'll see when I get my next review up, and that is going to be for Four Brothers. So look forward to that, but until I get that up, thank you for watching and have a great day.